speak. I was at TED this year. Of about 50 speakers that came across the stage over 3 days, in my mind, Cindy Gallop was the best. So we're very lucky to have her here today.
I'm going to give you a wholly subjective perspective on what I believe will characterize the successful luxury brands of the 22nd century. It's subjective because I work as a consultant to luxury brands, but very selectively. I only work with you if you want to find a way to blow your entire category apart, to explode the old world order and to pioneer the new world order. In other words, I like to blow shit up. I am the Michael Bay of business. So the things that will characterize the successful luxury brands of the 22nd century are that they will be elitist, empathetic, immediate, social, and youthful. And I will explain what I mean by each of those. Successful luxury brands of the future will be elitist. A lot of people are asking, what is the future of luxury? What is new luxury? I believe that the new luxury is a return to what is and has always been true luxury. True luxury is for the very, very few. The single worst thing that ever happened to the luxury sector was a democratization of luxury. Who the hell wants anything when anybody else can have it? Successful luxury brands of the future will be unashamedly elitist, because when you say we are only for the very, very few, that's what makes everybody else want you. Successful luxury brands of the future will be empathetic. And what I mean by that is, astonishingly, in the luxury sector, particularly in the luxury retail sector, come some of the worst customer experiences ever known in any sector, especially when you go to buy a seriously, seriously expensive, super high-worth luxury item. You have to get into the store. And that's not easy because it's barricaded with security systems. There's a massive looming security guard. If you make it past that, there are 15 million assistants to every square foot glaring at you suspiciously, and everything is behind glass or behind a protected barrier. And everything radiates, we don't trust you, look, don't touch, show us the money, and even then, we won't trust you. I'm astonished by the number of people who can afford to buy the store who've told me they make it really, really hard for us to pay. So empathy is particularly important because it has to be all about the customer, not about you. And it's also important because the single largest growing segment of luxury brand consumers are the newly wealthy and the self-made, especially in developed markets like Russia, China, India. These are people who are not to the manner born, and they now feel enormously uncomfortable about many of the situations they find themselves in through their new wealth, particularly in a scenario where they're trying very hard to hold on to the values they've always had and grown up with. An example in China is, a friend of mine told me about the newly wealthy in Shanghai. The Chinese have a term for it, bao ha fu, exploding wealth. That's when the guy came out of poverty, started a belt factory, and suddenly got the worldwide contract for Gucci. That's the new Chinese billionaire. And so what he does is he doesn't take his friends to the best restaurants in town. He takes them to the Shanghai fish market. Anyone can go there. You can buy fish. You can get it cooked at the wooden stalls around the market for like a couple of yuan. He takes 10 friends there. He buys the fish that costs 1 million renminbi. And then he has it cooked for a couple of yuan. And he and his friends sit around on the stools eating it. That's how he preserves the values of what he grew up with in the context of a completely new lifestyle. And I don't observe many luxury brands understanding that and operating in a way that makes those people feel comfortable that this is an experience that they can walk into and have their values respected and feel they're at the heart of that experience. The third thing that successful luxury brands of the future will be is immediate. The single biggest luxury in life is the ability to do whatever you want, whenever you want, however you want, and not to give a damn what anybody else thinks. That is a luxury that is readily available to the very, very wealthy amongst us. Similarly, they can buy whatever they want, whenever they want, however they want, for as much as they want, and equally astonishingly, luxury brands make it incredibly hard for them to do that. To be immediate, You want to give your customer the ability to buy your product or service the minute they want to buy it. And that's what e-commerce is all about. That's what the ability to be available online at the click of a mouse is all about. And again, luxury brands are very bad at doing that. And by the way, you will notice I don't say that the successful luxury brands of the future will be digital. That's because to say that is nonsense. Saying you need to be digital is a bit like saying, switch on the electric kettle. Pass me my electric hairdryer. Digital is a fact of life. It's simply what powers a completely different way of doing business. Digital is not about advertising. It's not about communication. It's not about websites. It's what informs your e-commerce. It's what informs your CRM strategy. Digital is the way everything is operated in the future. And so digital is just what can power the ability to be able to provide instant, immediate gratification to your audience. Particularly, by the way, also, within that currently appalling retail experience. You can use digital technology to take away a lot of those very overt security systems in a way that encourages massive spontaneity of purchase. Luxury brands are leaving a huge amount of money on the table. I've asked people what prompts them to buy very expensive pieces of diamond jewelry. And they say to me, it was Monday. It was Monday, so they bought it. And ironically, the retail experience I've just characterized is militating against spontaneous purchase like that and the ability to spend huge amounts of money at a moment's notice. The successful luxury brands of the future will be social. I don't mean by that they will be on Facebook. Facebook is simply one demonstration of the fact that there are fundamental social dynamics that all of us buy into as human beings. And actually, even at the very, very top of the wealth triangle, those people up there actually want to come together and be connected with other people like them. Luxury brands have the opportunity to do that in a very, very rarefied context, and where extraordinary things can happen if you imagine your customers and the worlds they come from meeting and connecting. And when you see what happens when you connect with people on Facebook and Twitter, imagine that multiplied in ways that are about impacts on world markets and on governments, literally. So successful brands of the future know how to use social dynamics and social networking in a very specific way. And as with any brand, it's all about community building. When you build a seriously engaged, seriously involved, and seriously loyal community, they do your selling for you. They help you short-circuit the entire process. The luxury brands of the future will also be youthful. Youthful is not something that this category is particularly known for being. And by the way, putting a $20,000 couture dress on a 15-year-old model does not create youthful. I'm not talking about being young. I'm talking about being youthful in spirit. We all respond to things that are youthful because we all feel youthful. Nobody actually wants things that are staid, fuddy-duddy, boring. And the answer to that, by the way, is to target the children. You want to get them while they're young. You want to go after the sons and daughters and the grandchildren of your customers. You want to present your brand in a way that is enormously appealing to them. And again, you can do that by leveraging those dynamics of technology, of social networking. Incidentally, I was interested to read earlier on this week a blog post by a young Japanese person saying, why aren't there more luxury brands present in virtual worlds? Virtual worlds are huge in Asia. Massive amounts of virtual objects trade hands for real-world currency. And by the way, the profit margins are very, very good in virtual worlds. There's a place where you can place your brands and your products with enormous perceived value and engage a youthful audience who are the sons and daughters of the people you're talking to in those developed markets whom you want to grow up and become the luxury consumers of tomorrow. So I guess what I'm saying really can best be summed up by one of my favorite quotes of all time from Alan Kay, who said, in order to predict the future, you have to invent it. Don't be at the mercy of market forces. Decide what you want your future to be, and then go out and make it happen. Thank you very much.